Govind, thank you so much for being here with us at this time of year and talking to us at ET Insights. We just wanted your views a little bit coming from where you are. As a multinational leader and a multinational company, what effect do you think the closures brought on by the pandemic have had on the company at large?
Yeah, thank you, Karan and Economic Times, for having me on board. 2020 has been an interesting year for all of us. But for us, it's even more challenging, unlike many other industries, because we continue to remain as an essential technology and service providers. Water is an important part of our life, not just for us to drink, not just for us to live, but also water is used in almost every single industry and everything that we consume on a daily basis. So throughout the pandemic, right from the peak, from January all the way up to December until today, our businesses, our service technicians, our key process engineers, we were operating as an essential service provider. And that was really a very, very big challenge for us because, you had to strike a balance between the health and wellness of our employees, because it's very important to us as, individuals. But at the same time, we also need to make sure that we are taking care of the needs of the broader population as well. So I'm very grateful, very proud to have an organization, people who have, put their lives at risk and ensure the continuity of water supply. But, to kind of add a little bit more flavor to this, there has been a lot of, non-essential closures, right? We've also had industries that have had a closure, but I think, it really taught us an important lesson of understanding what is our core business. Goes back to the fundamental premise of what value we are adding to our customers and how are we making a difference in their profitability, in their operations, in their existence per se.
Following on a little bit from the points that you raised, Govind, do you think that the historic value creation model that we perhaps saw is being rewritten a little bit, that there's been a little bit of a stumble for the entire industry, for the entire water industry?
I actually think it's the other way around. I mean, I strongly believe the importance of value creation has become even more better now, or even more important now, simply because every industry, be it you are manufacturing a certain product or a consumer, or even if you're a municipality of a city or a town, you're only spending money when it is absolutely required. So, so people are looking at, okay, what are the basic necessities that I need to spend on? So which means you are competing, we as players in the industry are competing on an extremely smaller pie as compared to the normal time. And then, for us to be able to differentiate between one another, value creation becomes important. And we are also seeing that customers right now also looking at holistic benefits to them, not just very short-sighted about doing the essential cost competitiveness. They're also looking at, hey, what are the additional benefits this particular organization or this particular technology is bringing to them in the longer run. So I think the value creation importance has gone even more higher at this point in time.
Very valid points, Govind. Now we know that Evoqua has opened Engineering and Technology Center in Chennai last year itself. So does that mean that the India market will be fully valued? And how do you see Evoqua helping Indian industry at large overcome water crisis and achieving sustainability, which is so much the need of the hour?
No, I think you brought a very important question, and I think I want to take the opportunity to kind of address it in this session. I also briefly touched upon it during the conference that we had sometime last week. So we have been in the Indian market for quite some time. And like I said, as an organization, we have a rich history of about 100 years. So, we have been around for a very long time, many generations, but more specifically in India, I think we were more known as Siemens Water Technologies. That was the business that pretty much started back in the early 2000s when Siemens acquired US Filter and then we established that business. And we, at one point in time, I think we probably had more than 100 odd employees in Mumbai. But when Siemens divested the business, I think we had to scale back. So we had very basic, essential operations on our core technology, which is iron pure. We continue to be a leading provider of the deionization technology in India, and also certain other product lines where we had key employees. So opening up of the technology center, I think, reinforces the importance of India to us as an organization. So this brings India to a completely different, level altogether. So the team in India today supports global operations, not just from an engineering standpoint, but also looking into digital, looking into artificial intelligence, looking into data analytics, a lot beyond the traditional engineering, back office that a lot of the companies like, in our industry have. But in general, I think we are very excited to be in India. You're absolutely right that this will probably, reinforces our presence in India. We currently have almost more than 100 employees in Chennai. And we are closely working with the US-India Chamber of Commerce, who has been providing us a lot of insights. So we are making a detailed assessment in terms of how and, when we should go in a much bigger manner. We are a player today in many technologies, but more on an indirect manner. We work with partners, we work with integrators, we work with OEMs. But I think there comes a point in time, which is now, I think we want to make a real situation analysis in terms of what is our role in India.
Well put, Govind. Let's talk a little bit about digital, because that's obviously been all there this year. It's all about digital across any industry you want to pick and talk about. What's the digital strategy like from Evoqua, and how do you see it evolving in times to come?
Again, very good question. Digital in the water industry, I would say you will hear a different definition and a different meaning when you ask somebody from a different industry. I think we are all guilty, especially people in the environment industry. We have not adapted enough as compared to the other industrial verticals from a digital transformation standpoint. It's a very conservative industry to speak with, right? But I think as an organization, we've always committed to digital. I would say much earlier. In fact, last year we won the Digital Company of the Year worldwide from Global Water Intelligence, which is by far the most renowned, magazine that covers a lot about water industry. But I think the COVID situation has kind of accelerated the need and importance of digital. And we look at digital as providing just beyond data collection. That is just one element of this, right? For us, I think we are looking at digital as a game changer in many areas. The very first one, I think we looked at it as a game changer in enabling the adoption of modern technologies into developing countries. Many years, we've seen in this part of the world is that everybody knows that, the need for technology advancements is there, but the challenge has been the upfront capex and the ability to roll this out over a life cycle time. But I think having a digital platform, like we've introduced a platform called as Water One, whereby it's almost like a pay-per-use or pay-on-demand model, whereby the users don't necessarily pay for the upfront capital cost. We, as a technology provider, we front-end the capital cost, we provide the service, we operate, we maintain, and as an end customer, I think all they need to worry about, hey, how much am I paying per liter or per meter cube of water today? And that's essentially what we're doing it. And to me, I think this has become a real game changer in changing the mindset of customers on how they look at technology.
I think, like you rightly said, Govind, digital has been a big game changer, and not just for your industry, but for all industries, even for the environmentally focused companies such as yours. So let's delve a little bit further into that. What does, in your perspective, what does innovation look like in the era of the coronavirus? Are there any new products being launched by your company that you particularly are excited about?
Absolutely. I think the one particular area where I think we are seeing more and more traction across the world, and more specifically in India, is in the area of disinfection. It's obviously created a big psychological scare in terms of how we deal with our basic needs. So we're strongly seeing a greater emphasis and greater importance on using the right technology and the right manufacturer, because you will have any technology that you take in the industry, you probably get close to 1,000 brands that can do the same thing, but there are nuances, there are differences. So for us, I think we look at the ability to get clean water, both for humanities and also industries, is an important one. So we are investing heavily, and we are seeing a greater demand in our ultraviolet UV disinfection technology, ozone disinfection technology, not just in the traditional methodologies where they're either put in together with a water system or they are installed at the tail end of a process. But we are seeing, users coming up with really innovative methods of using the fundamental purpose of the technology and applying it in many areas where even us, we've not really looked into. So we are seeing a greater demand for that. And we're also looking at, I think, power generation as one important, vertical. If you look at the Prime Minister's mission of Make in India, there's a lot of domestic manufacturing that we see it's coming, and we're also seeing a change in supply chain where many of the multinationals are pivoting from the traditional locations like China, and they're trying to diversify their risk into coming into India. So all of these manufacturing capability build up drives power demand. And as in India, we talked about in the conference as well, power is the biggest consumer of water. And we believe that rather than just focusing on recycling and reuse, which is absolutely an important, the main area to look for power is just like water, a very conservative industry that has not really changed much. We believe that industry will change in terms of using modern technologies. So we're introducing our Ion Pure VNX deionizing technology, which is completely chemical free and reduces a lot less water than the traditional resin-based technology that mostly adopted in India.
To round things off, Govind, just one last question before I let you go. Now, we've heard of this year gone by described in many, many ways as a black swan event, as something epochal. We've talked about the new normal, the next normal, but let's just focus on growth, because like you mentioned, that a lot of industries will now be looking at new ways to try and grow things, a new way of moving forward. From your perspective, your bird's eye view, how do you drive that next level of growth?
To me, I think as a leader of an organization and every business, as you go through an environment that is new to us, there's always challenges, there's always opportunities. I think we as a business, especially in an industry like water, we spread across every single vertical, right? Every industry that manufactures, that produces something needs water, and in addition to people. So I think for us, we look at it as an organization. We published our results sometime back in September. To a lot of surprise, I think we as a business have done really well amidst challenging conditions, and that is only because our ability to serve multiple customers, our diversification is very high. So right now, when you look at COVID, as much as it is challenging for many industries, especially oil and gas, the long-term, growth, obviously remains a little bit more in question. But we see a lot of bright spots in pharmaceuticals, vaccine generation, vaccine manufacturing, the corresponding value chain. We're seeing a greater demand in the way food and beverage or general consumption is looking at. A lot of the countries are very much inward focused now. Nationalistic policies are coming in, regional policies are taking a step back. So that is fueling a little bit more demand. And more importantly, the importance of digital and electronics has not changed, right? When you see more and more companies are launching new products, new technologies that are going to serve you and me, like the way we are communicating today. But to make all of those, you need to have a greater quality of water. And those are areas where we see opportunities.
Govind, thank you so much for being here with us, for having this chat. Hugely enlightening to chat with you and a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you, Karan.